Candy cane, large Marge, solid copy. You don't have to do the psh sound. It already makes that.
Large Marge, Candy cane. Oh. The bat is leaving the cave. Psh. Sorry, last time.
Candy cane, large Marge. I do not know what that means.
Large Marge, Candy cane. I have questions for gear tasting. Over.
Candy cane, large Marge. Send it. Hey guys, welcome to the ITS Gear Tasting, where we answer your gear-related questions and show you what we're up to and currently evaluating at ITS headquarters. Today we're going to be going over a couple new products as well as answering some questions over coffee. So let's get right into it with some products that we've received. So the first that I just got the other day is from Tactical Walls. It is their new issue box, not the tissue box, the issue box. So what it does is provide you concealed storage for really anything you want. So the main application is to store a hidden firearm, but at the same time, obviously I can think of dozens of uses for this already, but the method here is to grab inside of here, grabbing the tissue box along with the lid and lift this up off the top. So as you can see, it comes with, or I'm not sure if it comes with it, but you should use, let me show you, smaller size tissue boxes. So this is a lower profile tissue box than you can usually get in the stores. Usually store tissue boxes are pretty tall, which also make great concealment devices in themselves. Just think about that one. All right, so once you fix this, you can pull this off as long as you grab here. When I first got this, instinct wanted, I was grabbing this way and the tissue box was falling out. So if you grab inside of the lip there for the tissue box, you get to this. So this is a piece of foam, and you can actually cut this out, being careful not to cut all the way through. The bottom is adhesive, so it's basically an adhesive-backed piece of foam, and you can cut this out to whatever configuration you want. Just to show you kind of scale here, this is a flashlight and a handgun mag from a Glock 43. So you've got some space there. You're probably not going to fit a large full-size handgun, just to let you know. Just give you an idea. So this is like 4 3/4 inches tall, probably by 9 inches wide, something like that. So just a rough size estimate. So that is the issue box from Tactical Walls. You can check that out from their website. Next thing, just wanted to briefly mention too, one of our products. If you saw the Thin Blue Line patch and sticker set that we came out with last week, we have also now added, as of this Friday, we're coming out with the Thin Blue Line memorial bracelet. So we had previously worked with Hero Bracelets to provide not only a method to donate to the Intrepid Fallen Heroes Fund by creating this memorial bracelet, but came up with this catchphrase in memory of our fallen. So this is a way of kind of paying tribute with a band you can wear on your wrist to our fallen soldiers. So we also want to do the same for law enforcement, kind of utilizing that same Thin Blue Line concept. So using a blue memorial bracelet, we have that same message in memory of our fallen with their logo and the little Hero Bracelets logo on the back. And a portion of the proceeds from these will be donated to the COPS Fund. So included in your purchase, we will be donating directly through Hero Bracelets for that. And then also, I just wanted to mention, again, Friday for those that come out, they're not available on the website yet for the memorial bracelets, but they will be. Also, we had made a post on the site about the PDW watch cap, the AG watch cap. So I'm actually really impressed with the stitching on this watch cap. It's really well made, and just like they say in their product announcement, and obviously been able to feel this myself, is it's itchless. So that's something that I really like with beanies. Sometimes you'll buy them and they're not the classic style like this. They don't have, kind of the adjustment, so you can, adjust it for your ears. You can roll it up higher, what have you. You can do, it's kind of versatile in that respect. Plus it doesn't itch like like some other beanies on the market. So another thing too is that it's knitted in the US, which is good and nice, and it's also made out of merino wool. So that's where you get your itchless thing from. So those are just a couple things we're taking a look at. Let's follow up with some questions over coffee. All right, before I do some questions over coffee, shout out to my moon man Buzz from Share Space Foundation. Pick up your Get Your Ass to Mars shirt over at sharespace.org, I believe. I'll put it in the description just in case. But cool organization formed by Buzz Aldrin, promoting children's literacy in STEAM, which is science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. So be sure to check out what Buzz has going on over there. Okay, so the first question comes from John from email, who asks, what are your top 3 things to purchase or do yourself to better secure your home? The first thing I would recommend is a Door Devil. This is an anti-kick device. We've reviewed this extensively on ITS. We first talked about it probably 2 to 3 years ago. We did a video review with the guys from Trident Response in Dallas, where we actually constructed a structure and put one of these together on a door jamb and actually kicked the hell out of it. We had a former football lineman kick it too, and it stood up to that. So we'll link to that video as well in the description, but highly recommend a Door Devil. This is one of the best purchases you can make on a home. I was actually first turned on to the Door Devil from a law enforcement friend of mine who worked in Fort Worth, and he was telling me about this device that I think narcotics tried to raid a house, and they had these on the door, and it literally took them forever to get the door down to actually enter the home. So once I heard that, I was like, wow, what's that device? So that's how I found out about them. And actually, they're Texas-based. They were actually in Dallas, and they were happy to send some over for our review and evaluation that we did in Dallas with Trident Response. So check out that video. You won't be disappointed. I'm sure you'll all say that, hey, the door is moving, but I'll let you watch that video first. So the second thing I would do in your home is to make sure that you either, 1, have an alarm system, or 2, have at least an alarm sign in your yard. That can be one of the biggest deterrents, is simply having a sign, because if thieves see signs, they're less likely to hit your house and move on to the other house. So all security, I like to say, is just buying time. So anything you do to your home, anything you think is more secure, is just buying time. So it's limiting what the thief can do. So whether it's anti-break film on your windows, which is another thing that I might recommend too, you're just slowing them down. Even anti-break film can still be broken through eventually. It just takes a long time. So again, you're slowing them down, making it harder, making your home a harder target. So again, the yard sign was is a big plus. The anti-break window film, I think, is made by 3M. I've actually used it in person, and it's pretty good. Like I said, you are going to get into it eventually. It's just going to take a long time. Third thing is securing your garage door. A lot of people have automatic garage door openers. Most people today do, if you're in and out of your garage a lot, or you park in your garage. And one of the things that thieves can do is they can actually push the top of your garage door, get a wire coat hanger, and hook the emergency release cable from your garage door opener. And hopefully you know what happens if you pull the emergency release cable. It actually takes the garage door opener off the track, and it drops its emergency release, basically. So if your garage door gets stuck, you can yank that handle, and it cuts away the locking mechanism on the garage door, so you can freely open and close the garage door if something gets stuck in there. So if you pull that, obviously it's going to free up the garage door, no matter if you have an opener or not. So if that happens, there's ways to prevent it. We've done a video on how to secure that with some zip ties. If you use lightweight zip ties, you can actually still disengage that release handle if you had to in a real emergency too, but it does prevent something like a wire coat hanger from being able to pull that. So those are my 3 tips for ways to secure your home. All right, so my friend Eric Higgins asked me to say what kind of coffee we're drinking from now on Gear Tasting. So this is Aspen Coffee Company's Aspen Blend. This was hand-delivered to us from Matt Gamble all the way from Stillwater, Oklahoma. So shout out to Aspen Coffee. So the next question comes from Thomas B. on Twitter. This is kind of a dual question. 2 people have kind of asked roughly the same thing about comms and radios. So what kind of communications radio would you recommend for tactical applications? Is a boom mic or throat mic better? Well, that all depends on the situation. What are you doing? So are you at the range? Are you actually in an element or a team communicating inter-squad? It really depends on what you're doing. I don't have any experience with a throat mic, but I will kind of share what I've used in terms of a boom mic, and that's with the Sordens that I have. So my Sordens are equipped with comms. It's got a NATO down lead, and that's the big stubby antenna lead like this. And what that does is, well, I usually have it tied up like this first off. So this is what I wear at the range all the time. Usually have the boom mic and down lead cable basically hung up in the top here with a rigger's rubber band. So if you pull out the NATO down lead, move the boom mic down. So basically what happens is when you're wearing this, like this, it really depends on which side you're wearing it to, because the audio pickups, it really depends what you're doing. Like for classes, I'll actually wear the audio pickups in the back so I can hear the instructor talking, and more than likely I wouldn't be using a boom mic in that situation anyway, but you could, turn it to the other side if you had to. So again, NATO down lead plugs into a U94, which is a push-to-talk device. And these are great because they can clip the gear. I actually have one for 2 different kinds of radios. Again, just clip this to your gear. It's got a pretty good tactile feel on the button to actually press to talk. And then the NATO down lead plugs into that U94. And then the other end plugs into your radio device. So as I mentioned, I've got 2 of these. I just actually picked one up because we started using these Woxun radios. These were recommended to me by a friend of mine, and I really like these radios. This is kind of just a sampling of the different radios I've used personally, and we've used at ITS. So started out using these Vertex radios. We picked these up from Tactical Command Industries. I like them, but I really like all the features that the Woxuns have. So we've actually got about 8 of these to use during muster and things like that for our ITS events. And then I've also picked up a Baofeng, or however you pronounce that, a UV5R. The Vertex is the 414, and the Woxun is the UV5R, I believe. UV5D, that's what we have on the Woxuns. So again, it really depends. As far as the 94 goes, it depends on what your radio looks like. So you can see the different connection points. So those are different on the cables depending on what radio you're plugging into. This is kind of the standard. It's got the larger jack and the smaller jack. I'm not sure what this the actual jack type is called, but then this goes into the radio just like this. And then you can actually do an external antenna too. So I think I actually have that. Just to show you real quick. So a cable like this. So you can take a cable. You can buy these many places that sell communications equipment, and you can take these and actually take your antenna off body of the radio. So you could wire this into your gear, then the antenna this other part would plug into the top of the radio. So just a few examples of ways you can use radios and ways you can use push-to-talk devices and kind of what we have. So the other question is kind of similar from Ryan D over email, who asked, how did you wire up your radios with the push-to-talks and the Sordens? So that's kind of the same question. So hopefully I gave you some information. Look up U94 on the internet. You can probably find these, and if they don't have the right type of connection, you can always contact a radio manufacturer like TCI, the Tactical Command Industries place I mentioned. They actually were able to take a cable for me like this. So this was actually a cable that did not have the correct connector for the Vertex radio, so they were actually able to modify the cable for me to put that in there. So that's something you can look into as well. So hopefully that answers your question. Thanks. All right, one more thing I wanted to mention on the radios is I've also been kind of experimenting with the low-vis kind of in-ear devices too. So what I like about these so far is, not only can you kind of clip them in your ear like this, but this device here kind of clips to the back of your shirt, and then you've got a line that runs down into the radio, and you've got a line that runs to a push-to-talk device. So you can run this down your shirt sleeve and hold this in your hand and actually talk into this and push it just like a Secret Service agent talking to your shirt sleeve. But I've also been experimenting with different brands of these because I'm not super happy with this. You can hear it's kind of a rattle with this. It's kind of a cheaper push to talk to. I haven't found any that I've completely liked yet, but I'm still kind of experimenting with those. This one's a little different. The only big difference is, as you can see, you know, if you were to run this one up your ear, it's still got this clip to clip on your shirt, but then the push to talk isn't long enough to reach your sleeve. You have to kind of wear it here, then this can reach the radio. I don't like this as much. I mean, you can always reach down, but at the same time, it's kind of a smaller, low-profile option, you know, than the bigger push to talk on the U94. So one thing too that I'm not liking about the one that puts the push to talk, or gives you enough slack to put that on your hand, is that this device in the back that kind of clips to your shirt as you're wearing this, if you have any kind of tension pull on this, it pops this right out. So this is basically a microphone. So I don't really like that option. I've thought about just gluing it, but at the same time, just something to be aware of if you're messing around with these the more covert earpieces. All right, thanks for watching Gear Tasting. Be sure to send us your gear-related questions by using the # Gear Tasting on any of the social media outlets. We will find your questions and get them answered for you. Thanks for watching.